Andrew Bickley. I'm the IoT Technology Marketing Director from Arrow. And maybe just an interactive question. How many people have either are aware of Arrow or have actually done any business with Arrow today? Okay, so some. So first what I want to do is just make sure you understand Arrow. So we are a big company. We're a $23 billion company. And we've been around for a long time. And the key thing is we are not an IoT company who is a startup or has just converted to an IoT company. We're a company who's been in IoT for a long time. So if you engage with Arrow, you can be confident that indeed you're working with a company with a long-established history, a strong investment, and a strong workforce to execute on IoT. And just to give you the background there, because a lot of people look at Arrow as a traditional distributor. We're actually an IoT technology company. And to give you the credibility behind that, the number of business groups that we have. So the first one is the global components. Yes, we sell and make available technology components. Whether you want resistors or if you want high-end processors from Qualcomm, we have every hardware that you could need to choose from. But in the OCS group, we take that hardware and we make it into integrated systems. Systems with gateways, systems with display technology, systems with software and security. And in the Enterprise Computing Solutions group, which is a part of Arrow, we focus on data servers and data software and integration into IT systems. What we've done now is group that all together to create an IoT system. So we will claim that we've been in IoT before the word IoT was invented. And the other thing that I'm going to mention here, and I'll bring it back up in my presentation, is something that we call value recovery. One of the most underestimated things within IoT today is what do you do with your equipment when you upgrade it or you need to decommission it? If you've been providing IoT data, which you're selling, and you're selling into the public domain, you want to make sure that your hardware doesn't leave a footprint around your data that you've been selling. And IoT has a company within our group called Value Recovery, which will guarantee the decommissioning of hardware or the upgrading of hardware. Here's an interesting thing, which again, I just want to make sure you're convinced that Arrow is an IoT company. So in a recent article in the US, the Business Insider, it's a long article, but in one of the pages, it started talking about the top IoT companies recognized in the US. And you can see some great names up there, like Amazon, Apple, IBM, and Microsoft. And Arrow is ranked in the top companies for IoT publicized in North America. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of credibility about what I'm going to talk about now, which is around the IoT solutions for disruptive design cycles in IoT. I always show this picture when I talk about IoT because so many people have different views around what IoT is. Some of the software guys will always say it's about data package management. The security guys will tell you it's all about security. So this is the picture, a very high-level picture of what we in Arrow say is an IoT system. An IoT is all about controlling devices from the cloud in a secure and healthy way. So you have your things on the left-hand side. They always go through a gateway because they need to be managed. They will connect wirelessly or wired to a gateway. They'll go through an internet connection, and they will go to the cloud. And in the cloud is where we want to manage the device. Okay, so that's how we define an IoT system. An important thing about the IoT system is the services that come along with it. A lot of customers that we talk to now are not necessarily interested in the hardware. They're more interested in the applications and the business value that they can create on top of an IoT system. And some of those things that need to be included in an IoT system is something which you call break fix. If you deploy an IoT system and you have 20,000 IoT edge nodes and one of them fails, who's going to repair it? Who's going to upgrade it? Who's going to make sure that it's online and working correctly? So the services around IoT are also important. So the 4 blocks you see here are all available from Arrow, and I'm going to take you into a little bit more detail around what we offer. So the important thing to always remember as you go through this discussion, if you want a true end-to-end system, going from sensors to wireless connectivity to gateways to device security, to data analytics, to device management, there really is one company in the world which can do it, and I truly, truly mean that. There are lots of consultants and system integrators can do this, but we're the only company who can go from the hardware right the way through to the cloud and give you all of the services which run on top of that. And if you think about this, this is a really, really important topic. If you've ever tried to configure something in your home to control a light bulb or to control a garage door, it can be a complicated process. Now we talk about some companies managing millions of nodes in a real-time way. So it is not an easy thing to do. And this is why we call it sensors to sunset. So we can take a sensor, we can make it work and interoperable with any system, and when it's time to decommission or upgrade that system, Arrow is still there as your partner to solve some of those challenges. I want to talk a little bit about hype, because when I first started this role 2 years ago, the magic number was 20 billion connected devices worldwide. And I've been in this role now just coming up for 2 years, and the biggest number I've ever seen quoted as the connected devices to the internet by 2020 is 212 billion. And that number came from Cisco. So whereabouts are we? Are we 20, are we 50, are we 75? Whatever the number is, IoT is going to be the biggest market that all companies are going to be involved in for probably the next 15 to 20 years. And this is how Arrow, through working with a number of broad customers, see the market today. Today, 85% of the hardware that we encounter is not connected, it's not networked, it's a point solution. So the first step of IoT that we're involved in is getting things connected. And that's not an easy choice, because you need to make decisions around the wireless connectivity and the communication protocols that you're going to select. Once you're connected, customers typically move into the value phase. They start looking at the data they're creating, they start analyzing it, and they start making business decisions about how either they increase revenues, reduce costs, or add features to the product. So we think today we're literally going from this phase to the phase of customers creating value from IoT. In the next 3 to 5 years, we'll be moving into the future where we truly will be living in, smart cities, we'll have smart lives and smart businesses. But right now, we're in between these two blocks. This is our experience in the IoT play. So, if you're a company today and you wake up in the morning and you decide you're going to put an IoT strategy in place, and you're actually going to do end-to-end IoT on a large scale, this is the picture your engineers will report back to you. This is what you have to do. So on the left-hand side here, you'll see the sensors, the companies who can provide them. You'll see the connectivity, going through to the gateways, landing on a data platform, being managed in the cloud, all being wrapped up with security. This is a major, major engineering challenge for any company. And typically, if you want to go down this route, you should really have 30 or 40 software engineers at your disposal, because this is going to be a very difficult task. So Arrow introduced something recently called Arrow IoT Things Evolved, which is a IoT platform which takes away the complexity of how you do an end-to-end IoT system. Okay? And I'm going to take you through that, because there are two critical things that we give to customers which makes your life incredibly easy in the IoT world. So, IoT Things Evolved is around using the correct hardware, using the correct communication protocols, using the correct security and advanced security software, using cloud, using data platforms, but the most important thing is the software and system integration. This is not a trivial task. So for example, a lot of RFQs, requests for quotations that we see, specify BLE, Wi-Fi, a cellular connection, and up and coming maybe Thread. The task to get all of these IoT nodes working correctly, delivering data at the right time in a secure environment is very, very difficult, and a number of man-hours from a firmware perspective. So this is the IoT Things Evolved solution. So a traditional picture on the left is the things. Again, they're going through a gateway. They're connecting through the cloud to a data platform, right? Now, this is the proposal that we give to our customers that they can work with. The first thing is called Arrow Connect. Now, Arrow Connect is a suite of software which will guarantee any device connected to any data platform. Okay? Okay? We have our preferences, of course, on which data platforms we like to work. We'll always start there. But if a customer has an existing IT infrastructure that we need to interface with, we can do that. If the customer doesn't have an IT infrastructure, we can do that with an existing platform partner. For example, IBM would be a typical data platform that we would direct customers to. So Arrow Connect is where we sit down with a customer, we look at all of the devices to be connected, all of the connectivity standards to work with, the security software that needs to be implemented, the gateway software which needs to be put in place to manage the devices, and we produce Arrow Connect, which means any device will be interoperable with that data platform. This is work that you would have to do and continue to do, or it's work that Arrow will deliver for you as an Arrow Connect software suite. It's maintained and guaranteed over the lifetime of the project that we work with you on. So that's Arrow Connect. Arrow Insight is the ability for us to manage any device from any platform. Okay, so you might have a situation where you want to manage your devices through an IBM cloud. Tick the box, we can do that. You might have a situation where you want to manage certain devices through a cellular connection because those devices are out of range of a wireless network. Tick the box that we can do that. And Arrow Insight is a portal which sits on top of a cloud data platform where we can customize the data visualization and the device management for you. Or you can go direct onto the data platform and use something like a Bluemix. Or we can sit in front of the cloud and basically bespoke exactly what you want to see and exactly how you want to manage your devices. So if you think about an IoT system, first of all, you want to get connected and generate data. Then you want to use that data to make business improvements or add features to the product you're selling. Those two big tasks are supported by Arrow, where we have a bunch of software guys and system integrators who take over the heavy lifting work that you would naturally have to do and pay for in your own organization. Now, as I said, a lot of IoT companies come with infrastructure. A lot of companies you visit will say, I have an IT group, I have servers, I have cloud. What I'm struggling with is the IoT edge nodes, the connectivity. So our solution is very easy to work with. You can take all of it, or you can take parts of it, or you can ask us to focus in one area. And one of the biggest areas we're focusing on now is the wireless connectivity. Simply getting sensors and actuators connected to the internet. So if you look here, I'm showing you now a bunch of blocks that are available from Arrow. And as I said, you can take one of these blocks, all of these blocks, to design your IoT system. You can give the full responsibility to Arrow. And the important thing is if you want to be in a make model, if you want to take ICs from us with the software and design support, or if you want to take modules which are fully certified, coming with a plug-and-play experience, that is also available from Arrow. So it's a very, very flexible model. The key message is we understand that not all customers are the same. You may want to do an end-to-end IoT system. You might just want to put on a wireless connectivity solution to the front end of your infrastructure. Whichever model you want to be in, Arrow can support you. So here's a slide which we're not going to go through, but really just to give you some food for thought. Wouldn't it be great if we had one way to control devices? If we didn't have to worry about whether we're on Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or Thread or sub-gigahertz, wouldn't it be great if we had that situation? Well, unfortunately, that situation is not here yet. We hope we get there, but in choosing your connectivity standard is a critical part of your architecture. Yeah? You know, recently, we would say it wouldn't be a great idea to use cellular technology because Vodafone were thinking about what they're doing with the 2G network. So you'll see coming out from Arrow very, very shortly that we will be heavily promoting 2G as an IoT connection because of the new services that Vodafone are going to come out with. So the message on the slide here is this is a big discussion point because you want to get it right. When you've deployed 20,000 IoT nodes with the wrong connectivity standard, you know, this is a challenge to go out there and upgrade them and replace them. This is something we pay particular attention to. We work with our semiconductor partners making sure that we make the right selections and we take that work away from you. You need to concentrate on your applications, on the business services, and the value that you're going to generate for your company. So as a proof point of that, if you haven't already seen it, there's something called Arrow Smart Everything. And here's a reason why we did this. This is an edge node. This is what an edge node looks like. It's typically sensors with some power management, with wireless connectivity, with security, and it's all on one board. And typically, you would put this on an asset, you would measure some data, and you would send it through over a network to a cloud. So we've got an IoT node, which is for proof of concept. If you want to go back to your managers and say, I think our business requires a Sigfox connection to manage our devices, you can take this device, you can do a proof of concept, you can prove to your management that your business case is correct. Okay? You don't have to get 5 different development boards from a number of suppliers, glue together the firmware, check it, and make sure it works. That work has been done by Arrow. So this is a Sigfox edge node. And Sigfox had a lot of hype around it 2 years ago and is generating a lot of applications in the market. So it's a Sigfox proof of concept, out-of-the-box IoT edge node. A lot of you will also be hearing about LoRa, which is today a public network, which is hopefully in some countries going to be a private network. It has a better data rate than Sigfox. And it is also being used for a lot of machine-to-machine interoperability. Again, we did exactly the same thing, an IoT node, which you just power up and connect to the LoRa network, and you're able to share data, prove to your management that actually using LoRa for your business case application is easy to do, and you can focus on time to market and not time with technology. I'm just going to make an interesting statement here. Anybody from Intel in the room? No. Okay. This is an Intel statement, so it's not my statement. We work very, very closely with Intel because they typically own the architecture of the gateways in an IoT system. Intel predicted that if IoT goes the way it's going to go, by 2018, so in 2 years' time, most of the gateways that are deployed for IoT are going to be overloaded with data. The reason being is the disciplines around the sensors and the data that you report to the gateway are not going to be very good. We're going to reporting data to the gateway, we're going to overload the gateway, and systems are going to fail. So Intel have come up with a technology called pattern recognition. It's where the edge node starts to become really intelligent. And the edge node starts to decide based on data which is useful and data which is not useful. And it only communicates to the gateway the data that it recognizes is useful. This is a really, really critical application that we're focusing on. It's called pattern recognition. And basically, you can program the device to look for certain patterns in data and only transmit that data when you see the pattern. Data which is not in that pattern doesn't need to be transmitted to the gateway, so therefore it doesn't overload the gateway. This is an edge device that we're bringing out in Q4 to demonstrate again this proof of concept in your business so that you can quickly convince your management that this is a direction you need to go. And then a lot of you would have seen the excellent exhibition today from Arrow, the smart home. Great coffee in there, by the way. The smart home is coming, and one of the technologies that's going to be used in the smart home is Thread. Okay, Thread is going to be the new Bluetooth for all of us. You know, the standards are just being finalized this year. Technology is available right now to play with, but probably over the next 3 to 5 years, most of the things happening in our home are going to be communicated over Thread. And we've been working with that technology so that we can make that available so that you can start playing with it, you can get an early start into the market around Thread, which will be the new Bluetooth for the home. So just in closing here, I wanted to come back to one of my earlier slides, which is really to make sure that if you're in an IoT discussion in your design departments or with your management, please, please, please give Arrow a call. We're working with a lot of companies, helping them get into the market very, very fast with very reliable, secure solutions, which are maintained and upgraded over the lifetime of that product deployed into the industry. And, you know, across the bottom line, sensors, connectivity, edge computing, gateways, security software, data platforms, and analytics is all available under one umbrella from Arrow. And it's very much a flexible model. You can pick and choose where you want to be in the model. and you can be sure to get guaranteed service from Arrow to help you get into the market in a fast way. I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation today, and I'm very happy to take any questions on what I've shown you today.
Any questions? I have one, Andrew. So why is Thread the new Bluetooth? What's better with Thread?
Yeah, so the key thing around Thread is it's based on a 6-LoWPAN technology. So it's IPv6, which basically means every device will have an internet address and you can communicate it directly in a secure way. Unfortunately, Zigbee didn't manage to get that far. So what it means is when you're in the home, because it's an IPv6 communication protocol, you can address it securely. It has an IP address which only that device has. There is an application layer which needs to be written on top of that. Thread is focusing on the secure intercommunication around devices. And just touching on that, which leads me to something else that I'll share with you. We did an extensive report with survey with a lot of customers across North America and Europe. And the two top things that came out in customers who were getting into an IoT design, the two top things that they were most worried about. One was security. Yeah? I've got now 20, 30, 40,000 devices. How secure are they? Can they be tampered with? Can they be hacked? And the other one was system integration, because a lot of companies didn't have the skill sets now to bridge the world of operational technology into IT technology. And they know that was a skill gap, and they know that there was a risk where they could potentially fail in their product development.
Any other questions? No? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.